Hello everyone, and thanks for continuing on the journey of the RSLogix 500 series. Um, in this particular video, I'm going to continue building along our project that we've already created here, and I want us to look at the next set of users, bits, functions that we have within the RSLogix 500 programming environment. So our next kind of tab would be this bit function up here. And in bits, we still have our XIC, XIO, OTE, OTL, OTU, and then we end up with this one-shot rising. And kind of surprising to me that the 1000 series, because I was always under the assumption that it had access to the one-shot rising, and the one-shot falling. However, in this particular one, it does not. So we're going to just talk about the one-shot rising, and we'll talk a little bit about the one-shot as well. And let me just see here real fast before I get too far away. I want to kind of give us an understanding of what a one-shot rising and falling does exactly for us. What that talks about is, so one-shot realistically is, if we're looking at kind of the line here, and then we turn it on, and then maybe we turn it off, the one-shot just simply sees the fact that it came on. And so at any point along this edge here, realistically, in fact, I probably should have, at any point along the way of this particular rising action within the scan, it's going to see that, and it's only on for like a quick blimp while it's there. If we were talking about a one-shot rising, if we come up, all it's going to focus on is the fact that we rose within this interval right here is when the one-shot rising is coming on. As for a one-shot falling, it's going to focus on the fact that it's right here within this window right here. So what that really is telling us is the one-shot only allows that rung to be true for a very split second during a scan when this particular feature is enabled. So looking at our function here, and we're going to go ahead and use rungs 1 and 2 because we talked about the latch in the last video. I also talked about OTE in the last video, but let's talk about the latch and the unlatch. If we were to take our start motor button and we were to put a one-shot rising in here, and we gave it, now again, one-shots generally use our binary files especially hard. So I'm going to go ahead and use all of 2 to be my binaries for one-shots in this particular case. I'm also going to add another one-shot over here. So again, one-shot rising. Oops. And I'm also going to use, once again, the B2. I'll put B21 right here. Okay. All that's doing is, when the start motor button is pressed, during the scan, when it saw it in the rising action, it's going to kick the latch on. And it's only on for the blimp that the one-shot rising is allowed to be on within the program. And the same feature comes true is that when the stop motor button is pressed, the one-shot rising is going to see that that function has gone to the true state, and it only stays on for the blimp that the program has established that one-shot rising needs to be on for to hit the unlatch. This is very beneficial in a lot of things. One-shots are great too in another situation like this. They're very, very helpful in a situation like this where we don't want that button to be held there forever in that situation. Sometimes when we're doing like a sequencer function or whatnot, we'll use a lot of one-shots. They can become cumbersome and burdensome where they're not allowing us to transition fast enough, or our scan times aren't allowing it to see it quick enough, or something along those lines, thus making the one-shot very difficult to use. But they have a great benefit in their place in a lot of areas. I strongly encourage you to consider the use of these, but when you have something like a rung 0 up here, putting a one-shot right here just really isn't going to benefit you much. And putting it over here, it'll never turn your MCR on for any length of time. So it's just one of those things where or even if you put it after the stop button, it'll never work either, because it'll only allow it to be on for that quick blimp, and you won't even see your coil really transition, because it'll be so fast in the program that it didn't do anything for you in the physical world. So definitely they have their place. I strongly encourage the use of them, but just kind of know when you're using them, how you're using them, and why you're using them for that particular application. If you do, for instance, have a sequencer that's stepping too rapidly or something like that, sometimes putting a one-shot in there can help slow down your sequence so that it's only allowing it to step into that position for whatever X reason it would be. And we'll talk a little bit more about sequencing later on, and we might bring back the one-shot for that conversation there. Anyway, that concludes kind of the video I have for talking about one-shots. So thank you all for watching this video, and continue staying with us on our RSLogix 500 series.